This video will show you the best racing game of each year since 1982. Well, the arcades were a smash hit, and you could play classic games such as Dig Dug, Pitfall, and Joust. So which racing game could possibly have been the best for 1982? Pretty much the only game that was available, Pole Position. Pole Position was an arcade racing sim released by Namco and licensed to Atari. It was the highest grossing arcade game of 1982 in Japan, which led to a massive boom here in the United States. Pole Position became the highest grossing arcade game of 1983 and 1984. So yeah, racing games were off to a great start. There was no denying its impact internationally, and obviously, gaming companies took notice. There was a new market, and it catered to the audience who wanted to drive, and drive fast. 1983 saw games such as Checkered Flag, Rally Speedway, and Spy Hunter. However, the best game from 1983 has to go to Pole Position 2. The game was a blast, scoring high in reviews and quickly becoming the highest grossing cabinet soon after its debut. The cars had new liveries, the game featured Fuji, Suzuka, and Long Beach, as well as their test track, which was just the Indy 500 layout. In 1984, we saw a couple games, Hot Wheels and the Dukes of Hazzard came out, but only one racing game stood out as best of 1984, that being the ultimate dirt bike classic, Excite-A-Bike. This side-scrolling motocross racer lets you control how you race, fly through the air, and take out your opponents. The editor was a unique feature, and I remember spending many hours making my own tracks for my friends to try out. Excite-A-Bike was way ahead of its time. The best game of 1985 goes to Mach Rider. Very unique gameplay and increased skill needed for this one, as you needed to shift your gears, work a machine gun, and stay on the course as needed. '86 saw the likes of WEC Le Mans, BMX Simulator, and Super Sprint. Yep, the best game of 1986 has to go out to Outrun. This arcade game released by Sega pioneered graphics, gameplay, and soundtrack all in one incredibly fun package. You drive a Ferrari Testarossa Spider with its top down and your hair flowing in the wind. Completely 1980s, I know. This checkpoint-based racer blew minds, reviewed very well, and even won the Golden Stick Awards Game of the Year. This game was just so vivid, the gameplay was so fun, and the soundtrack was just banging. 1987 saw the release of the Grand Prix Simulator, ATV Simulator, and Test Drive. However, the best game of '87 goes to Rad Racer. The game had a good sense of speed, and you even drove a Ferrari 328. Even as derivative as it was to other games at the time, Rad Racer was still the best choice for that year. 1988 was a dud of a year for racing games. Sure, over 10 games were released, but nothing quite stuck out. Nothing compared to RC Pro-Am, which was easily the best game of the year. Released in February on the NES, RC Pro-Am gave us a top-down, isometric perspective view of the racetrack while we piloted RC cars around tracks, all while dodging hazards and shooting at each other. The music, the controls, the gameplay, the minimalistic design really made this game fun, and another 2+ million people thought the same thing. 1989 easily goes to Ivan Ironman Stewart's Super Off-Road, one of the best racing games on the NES as well. But this arcade release was a smash hit. Super Off-Road borrowed from the pick-up stuff while racing mechanic from Super Sprint and perfected it. Grabbing bags of cash and winning races meant you could upgrade your stadium truck into a beast and then do nothing but spam nitrous after you fit 99 of them within your truck. This game was just simply fun. 1990 saw many racing gems like Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge and Al Unser Jr.'s Turbo Racing, but the Super Nintendo was already released in Japan and they got to play F-Zero before the year was even over, thus making F-Zero the best racing game of 1990. It was way ahead of its time, the graphics were amazing and the soundtrack was beyond stellar. Rich gameplay had me coming back for more. It was such an amazing game. The SNES opened up arcade-like graphics to those at home, and we could finally enjoy games like Super Off-Road like it was meant to be played, as the NES itself was so limited with its low memory and GPU. 1991 was an epic year as we got Super RC Pro-Am, Micro Machines, RPM Racing, and Road Rash. My choice for Game of the Year is Danny Sullivan's Indy Heat, as it was similar to Super Off-Road, yet was based off of the IndyCar series instead. Not only was the gameplay similar by design, but you took incredibly fast Indy cars around a track and had to watch your tire wear and gas consumption. You even had to perfectly time your pit stop and strategize to win effectively. For it being a game from 1991 and a top-down racer, it was very ahead of its time in terms of simple control style, yet deep gameplay. 1992 saw Wave Race, RC Pro-Am 2, and Top Gear. However, another game came out this year, and it's the best racing game of 92, that being Super Mario Kart. This game was massive. Mario characters racing around colorful tracks, shooting Koopa shells at each other, and throwing banana peels behind them just to have a good old time and race around a track. This game went on to become the 4th best-selling Super Nintendo game of all time. 93 gave us Top Gear 2 and Rock and Roll Racing. However, Ridge Racer was unleashed in October of 93 in Japan and was simply a new era of racing technology. North America got it exactly 1 month later and it was on from there. Of course, this game was ported to the PlayStation in late 94, but racing enthusiasts got a chance to race this magical game in 93. It seems so unreal. Definitely the best game of 93. 1994 saw Stunt Race FX, Uniracers, Need for Speed, Ridge Racer 2, Sega Rally Championship, and Cruisin' USA. However, no matter how good those games are, the best game of 94 goes to Daytona USA. This game hit the arcades in Japan and North America in March, and it grew wildly popular soon after its launch. Sega created Daytona USA to beat Namco's Ridge Racer and used stock cars as NASCAR was becoming wildly popular in the United States at the time. Daytona USA was realistic while maintaining good arcade gameplay and controls. Oh, and don't forget about that astonishing soundtrack. This game sparked an even bigger flame on the racing market. In 95, we got to play Top Gear 3000, Dirt Tracks FX, ESPN Extreme, and Destruction Derby. Yet when it comes to sheer graphics, gameplay, and overall fun factor, the best game of 95 goes to Wipeout, a futuristic racing game where you drive these anti-gravity, hyper-aerodynamic racecrafts at bizarre speeds, race and win with sheer skill and pick up items and blast your way to victory. This game was stellar indeed and very unique. It was like F-Zero with tons of caffeine and insane graphics. 96 saw San Francisco Rush, Cruisin' World, NASCAR Racing 2, Destruction Derby 2, Jet Moto, Wipeout XL, Rage Racer, and Wave Race 64. Yet the best racing game of 96 goes to the legendary Mario Kart 64, shifting to polygon-based 3D graphics for track design, supporting up to 4 players on one screen, all while having incredibly high replay value and insanely addictive gameplay made this game the second best-selling game on the Nintendo 64. Even though it introduced the friend-demolishing blue shell of death, this game has a legacy that still holds up today. 97 saw the likes of Off-Road Challenge, Top Gear Rally, The Need for Speed 2, Micro Machines V3, and NASCAR 98, but nothing would prepare the world for what would hit Japan in December. A small studio known as Polyphony Entertainment developed a new racing game called Gran Turismo, the real driving simulator for PlayStation, and it blew the doors off of anything we played previously and changed the racing game genre as a whole. Gran Turismo innovated with driver's licenses, physics, customization, purchasing parts, tuning cars, and pushing the game to its limit with what the PlayStation could do. Gran Turismo was a commercial hit, selling millions of copies over the next couple of years, really giving racing fans and car enthusiasts a great game to enjoy. Its depth, combined with fun gameplay, was met with high praise amongst critics as well as customers. Gran Turismo would get perfect scores, win awards, and this was just the beginning for the franchise. It all started here. 1998 saw the likes of Colin McRae Rally, Sega Rally Championship 2, Daytona USA 2, Road Rash 3D, NASCAR 99, F-Zero X, Rush 2 Extreme Racing, and Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. However, my choice of best racing game of 1998 goes to TOCA 2 Touring Cars. This game features BTCC racing at its finest, with better graphics, physics, and a 4-player multiplayer mode that few PlayStation games were even attempting to use. This game launched in Europe in December and was a pure joy of a game, especially for racing fans who wanted to simulate the real-life series around Silverstone, Donington Park, and Brands Hatch. 99 was an absolutely insane year with Crazy Taxi, San Francisco Rush 2049, Hydro Thunder, Revolt, Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, World Driver Championship, Demolition Racer Released, Road Rash 64, Jet Moto 3, Top Gear Rally 2, South Park Rally, Driver, Crash Team Racing, Wipeout 3, and Beetle Adventure Racing. Somehow the game that stole 1999 by a landslide was Gran Turismo 2, which just gave us more of the same as the original, a lot more. We got more tracks, 650 cars, and so much more racing content. The braking physics were a huge upgrade, and everything in general was just gone over with a fine-tooth comb to smooth out anything that was rough from the previous release. Gran Turismo 2 sold well, and it sold fast, selling just over 815,000 units in Japan alone within the first week. This game is responsible for converting an entirely new generation of gamers into racing fans. (2000) saw the launches of several F1 and NASCAR games: Road Rash Jailbreak, Ridge Racer 5, Ridge Racer 64, Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed, Driver 2, Midnight Club Street Racing, 4x4 Evolution, Daytona USA 2001, and Excitebike 64. However, when it comes to the best racing game of the year 2000, that simply has to go to Colin McRae Rally 2.0 for its polished graphics, depth of play, great frame rate, physics, and damage model. This game was a great choice for serious WRC fans. 2001 was massive for the racing genre. F-Zero Maximum Velocity, GT Advanced Championship Racing, Top Gear GT Championship, Mario Kart Super Circuit, NASCAR Racing 4, 4x4 Evolution 2, The Simpsons Road Rage, Burnout, Wave Race Blue Storm, WRC 2001, Crazy Taxi 2, ATV Off-Road Fury, and Project Gotham Racing. PGR would have been my choice for best racing game of 2001 if it wasn't for Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. GT3 was revolutionary with its graphics and physics upgrade and making simulation mode an overall better experience. Gran Turismo 3 was critical. It was a critical game for the genre and went on to become one of the best-selling games of all time. Hell, even one of the greatest video games of all time, period. Formula 1 cars were added to the game and can only be unlocked by winning an endurance race. Lamborghini and Porsche finally made it into the GT series for the Japanese version. Aston Martin was now in the game, and it's just too much to list. The game was and is epic, and almost all PlayStation 2 owners had it. It was the racing game to play. Compared to the previous year, 2002 slowed down quite a bit. We still got some gems like Wipeout Fusion, Stuntman, Sega GT 2002, TOCA Race Driver, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, ATV Off-Road Fury 2, Colin McRae Rally 3, and Rally Sport Challenge. Oddly enough, another NASCAR game lands on this list, and it's the best game from 2002, that being NASCAR Racing 2002 Season for the Windows and Mac. This game reviewed incredibly high across many websites and magazines, and it was just such a fun simulation, especially for the time and the style of racing. NASCAR was still huge, and this game did a great job mimicking this style of racing. 2003 had some bangers released as MotoGP 3, Need for Speed Underground, Midnight Club 2, Colin McRae Rally 4, Mario Kart Double Dash, F-Zero GX, and NASCAR Racing 2003 season. However, the best game of 2003 goes to Project Gotham Racing 2. This game was an Xbox exclusive and used Xbox Live for more online multiplayer glory and fun. There was so much to do in the game on single player, and then when you were ready you could test your skills online. It was such an amazing game. 2004 saw releases from F1, WRC, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge, ATV Off-Road Fury 3, MX Unleashed, Rally Sport Challenge 2, Colin McRae Rally 2005, Toka Race Driver 2, Burnout 3 Takedown, and Gran Turismo 4. Need for Speed Underground 2 wins 2004 as it was just an incredible game all around. Tuning your car into a racing machine to compete in circuit racing, sprint racing, drifting, and drag racing, which led to hours and hours of absolutely breathtaking gameplay. That was, of course, if you can get your car out of the garage after customizing your ride. Need for Speed Underground 2 was simply fun on all aspects and had surprisingly deep gameplay. 2005 had some prime time choices this year with Crazy Frog Racer, Big Mother Truckers 2 Truck Me Harder, MotoGP 4, Ridge Racer 6, MX vs ATV Unleashed, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Project Gotham Racing 3, R Factor, Mario Kart DS, and Burnout Revenge. Yet the best racing game of 2005 was an exclusive that kickstarted a franchise that is still pumping out games today. That game, of course, being Forza Motorsport. This Xbox exclusive reviewed high across the board, 231 cars to choose from. Start in a Honda Civic and work your way up to that IMSA Corvette C5R or the Le Mans Toyota GT1. Race around real-life tracks such as Road Atlanta, Silverstone, Laguna Seca, and more. Forza Motorsport just started something beautiful and is easily the best game of 2005. 2006 saw a lot of games being released. This year saw releases from ATV Off-Road Fury 4, Need for Speed Carbon, Ridge Racer 7, Test Drive Unlimited, and Toka Race Driver 3. MotorStorm also launched on the PS3 and is definitely the best game of 2005, as it was exciting, innovative, and it holds the Guinness World Record for the biggest variety of vehicles in a racing game. 2007 was a bland year for racing games, where only 3 games stood out from the rest of the wretched filth that they wanted to call new racing games. Colin McRae Dirt, Project Gotham Racing 4 came out, and the best game of 2007 is Forza Motorsport 2. Why Forza Motorsport 2, you ask? This game had force feedback and was designed along the Xbox 360 wireless racing wheel, all while running at a blistering 60 frames per second in 720p resolution. There was online auctions, leaderboards, statistics, new damage model, and physics. Forza Motorsport 2 is easily the best game of 2007. 2008 saw the release of iRacing, MotorStorm Pacific Rift, Race Driver Grid, and Mario Kart Wii. The game that stole the hearts of reviewers and gamers alike was Burnout Paradise, which was just a gem of a racing game that year. Open world racing at its finest, winning many awards, and all while being genuinely fun to play. Improving from previous releases while not being too derivative of itself, Burnout Paradise holds a special place in gamers' hearts. 2009 saw unique games such as Trials HD, MX vs ATV Reflex, and Colin McRae Dirt 2. However, the best game of 2009 is Forza Motorsport 3. It's more of the same, but with many more features and details added to the game for a better gamer experience and so much more. Real tracks, fantasy tracks, cockpit mode, assisted driving, car details, more racing modes, tuning, customization with more online features as well. Forza Motorsport 3 definitely deserves the title for best game of 09. ...2010 saw many lackluster racing game releases, but we got to play Blur, Mod Nation Racers, Split Second, and Gran Turismo 5. The one game that barely nudged Gran Turismo 5 off the #1 spot is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. It took the crown for 2010, and the game went back to its roots and focused on high-speed action and police chases. The map was 4 times larger than Burnout Paradise and boasted an online multiplayer experience. The game focuses on fun gameplay and less on being a simulator, as you cannot even tune your car. Its direct focus on just driving, though, attracted casuals and racing fans alike. Even though it won Best Racing Game of 2010, it barely beat Gran Turismo 5, which is an entirely different beast in terms of racing game. Pick your poison, both games are worth your attention. 2011 saw Test Drive Unlimited 2, MotorStorm Apocalypse, Trackmania 2, Dirt 3, and Mario Kart 7, which is probably the only Nintendo 3DS game that will be featured in this video. However, Forza Motorsport 4 enters the ring and takes over the competition with force. Forza Motorsport 4 is widely regarded by the Forza community as the best title within the franchise. You can't talk about the best Forza title and not bring up Forza Motorsport 4. What makes it so good? Over 500 cars, 26 tracks, enhanced vehicle physics, updated graphics, incredible sound, Auto Vista mode, Connect was featured but not required, Top Gear partnership, boasting the best online features, and more. Forza Motorsport 4 is golden era Forza Motorsport action and deserves the title for best racing game of 2011. In 2012, the world didn't end, but we got to play Ridge Racer Unbounded, Trials Evolution, Dirt Showdown, F1 2012, and Need for Speed Most Wanted. Yet one quote-unquote nude game that joins the roster of games that will soon have a franchise behind it is Forza Horizon, as it launched on the Xbox 360, offering a change of scenery with the Forza franchise itself. Horizon is more focused on atmosphere with relaxed racing experience and car collecting than motorsport racing and grinding. A photography mode opened up an entirely new world for photography enthusiasts, and you can hunt for rare cars in barns throughout the land. Forza Horizon really took open world racing to a whole new level. 2013 has the privilege of saying these games came out: R-Factor 2, Race Room, F1 2013, Forza Motorsport 5, and Grid 2. Polyphony released the best game of 06 with Gran Turismo 6. Fun fact, Gran Turismo 6 is the first game in history to feature officially FIA certified content. GT6 had 1,200 cars, 30 tracks, better car customization, and partnerships with Goodwood Festival of Speed, FIA, and NASCAR. Gran Turismo 6 had it all, including driving the lunar rover on the moon. All of this, plus its stellar gameplay, led the way this year. 2014 saw the releases of MX vs ATV Supercross, Spin Tires, The Crew, Grid Autosport, Assetto Corsa, and Forza Horizon 2. Top spot this year, and that goes to Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. This is hailed as one of the more perfect Mario Kart games, as it took all of the new features from the previous game and just made them so much better for the big screen. Nothing is lost from previous games in terms of mechanics. Anti-gravity driving on walls and ceilings were added, racing online was better than ever, all of the tracks are stellar, the gameplay is amazing, and the graphics and soundtrack are brilliant. No wonder this is the best-selling Wii U game of all time, selling more than 8 million copies worldwide. This game is so good I still play it to this day with my kid, as it's just a good, fun, relaxing experience. 2015 gave us Rocket League, Project Cars, and Dirt Rally. Just edging out Dirt Rally off the top spot is Forza Motorsport 6, which saw a huge return to form after Forza Motorsport 5's awful performance. Motorsport 6 saw the return of racing at night, rain racing, and featuring 450 cars across 27 tracks. The online experience was where it was at this time, as Stories of Motorsport Career Mode was quite a grind and took over 70 hours to complete. The game looked great, felt great, and handled beautifully. Drivatar AI made playing single player as enjoyable as playing with your friends online. In 2016, we saw F1 2016, Valentino Rossi, the game, and Trackmania Turbo. The base game of 2016 goes to Forza Horizon 3. You know the drill by this point. More of the same, with better this and better that. This time the location is in Australia. 4-player co-op campaign, cross-platform play between Xbox and PC, 350 cars at launch with more on the way via DLC and dynamic gameplay that is definitely the best in the series at this point. Players found more of an emphasis on off-road racing, but it did not sacrifice anything else in the process, just giving us an overall more fleshed out and fulfilling game. Just hop in the car, drive around, and enjoy the scenery. 2017 delivered Cruisin' Blast, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Micro Machines World Series, WRC 7, Dirt 4, Need for Speed Payback, Project Cars 2, F1 2017, Forza Motorsport 7, and GT Sport. P-Cars 2, Motorsport 7, and GT Sport are all fairly close racing games. Each game had its issues, each game had its strengths and weaknesses, but honestly I think Project Cars 2 was the best game overall out of those three. Be sure to tell me how wrong I am in the comments section. Project Cars 2 had an amazingly fun online experience. The physics were awesome. That was the first game I used an actual wheel on my console, and that just made the experience so much better. Career mode was one of the best career modes to exist. 2018 had NASCAR Heat 3, MotoGP 18, Grip Combat Racing, Onrush, Wreckfest, V-Rally 4, and F1 2018. The game of the year for 2018 goes to Forza Horizon 4, which isn't a surprise to anyone as it improves on what Horizon 3 did and puts it all in Great Britain this time around. Besides your usual goodies, players now had a route creator that allowed users to make their own races and share them online. Dynamic weather was again in the game, and now the seasons changed within each week to give drivers a unique experience on a week-to-week basis. During the winter months, you could drive on the Derwentwater Lake and reach areas you couldn't find in other seasons. You can now buy houses, which can give you perks for like fast travel. Forza Horizon 4 was so good, it won 13 awards in its lifetime and kept gamers coming back for more with support, content updates, and DLC. 2019 gave us Need for Speed Heat, Grid 2019, Descenders, Trials Rising, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and Dirt Rally 2.0. Codemasters had another hit racing game that came out this year called F1 2019, and it is the best game of the year and definitely is the best of the entire F1 series. The game features driver transfers after you complete a season, design liveries, brought on Formula 2 content, and even built a campaign within that series with fictional characters to race with you as you enter the feeder series and try to get into F1 itself. Career mode was revised and highly revered among fans. During 2020, we got to play NASCAR Heat 4, WRC 9, and Dirt 5. The game that takes the #1 spot again is F1 2020, as it introduced My Team, which allowed the player to create a fictional driver and team for the season. AI was improved to give a more realistic and authentic experience. Racecraft was fine-tuned overall for the AI as well. All in all, F1 has been slowly grinding every year to become the best racing game, and that they managed to do it again 2 years in a row. 2021 is the smallest batch of racing games released since 1982, WRC 10, F1 2021, and Circuit Superstars was released, as well as the best racing game of 2021, Forza Horizon 5. Now racing in sunny Mexico, the game immediately became a massive success thanks to Xbox Game Pass and Steam users boasting numbers as soon as it launched. 10 million players were on Horizon 5 within the first week, which is the biggest ever launch for an Xbox Game Studios game. Mexico is 50% bigger than Great Britain was in Horizon 4, giving players so much more space to cruise, roam, race, take photographs, and just drift around everything. The new local weather system was implemented in the game, where you can see a storm happening on one side of the map. The 4 Seasons mechanic returned, affecting all 11 biomes differently as it would in real life. Forza Horizon 5 is the most accessible and polished racing game to ever exist, and that is saying something after looking at 40 plus years of racing games. scoring a wildly high 92% on Metacritic, winning awards for the best racing game, innovation in accessibility, and best audio design. Turn 10 and Playground Games have a lot to be proud of with this game. But that's it. That's 40 years of racing games and my favorite game from each year. Where do you see the genre heading? Do you think another franchise will come up soon, or we'll be seeing the same rotation of 8 games year after year? The genre itself started very small with only a few games per year into an explosion of dozens and dozens of games during the evolution of technology and constant performance upgrades. Now we're seeing the lowest number of releases again in 40 years. Is this from a lack of imagination or from COVID? I can't wait to see what happens with racing games and racing sims over the next 40 years. Maybe then we'll be strapped into a cockpit, smelling burnt rubber, and getting sprayed in the face with air and water as we race around windy and wet racetracks. So that's all for this video. This has been 40 years of racing games and the best one of each year. Thank you for watching. How long have you been playing racing games? Have you been playing as long as I have? I mean, honestly, I first picked up racing games back in 1988. So I've been playing racing games for a really long time. And give me your top 3 favorite racing games of all time. I gotta hear it. So leave those comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day.